Good morning, cult members. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is episode 3 of TV Time. Look, I called it the right name this time.
Yay.
This is our half-hour or less show about TV news. That gives us more chance to talk about movies and cons and stuff like that in the big show, which we film on Mondays.
Right.
And this week we have a bunch of stuff. And a lot of it is like serial hero. I already told her it's gonna be one of those shows. We have a bunch of superhero stuff because Netflix dropped some stuff. They're dropping some stuff. Disney decided to blow up the universe this week.
Right.
And it's a week late, so we're not going to talk about the Emmys a whole lot. We talked about them last week, and really, nobody really cares about the Emmys.
Apparently.
So let's get into it. We finished Iron Fist Season 2, was it Tuesday? It was a 10-episode season. It actually it made a lot more sense with 10 episodes than it did with whatever it was the season before, 13 or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because they kind of told two stories, the first one, right?
Yeah. It was Danny coming back and then
the bad guy.
And then the bad guy stuff. But this season had one continuous flow to it, had one building up to one epic fight.
Mm-hmm.
We had fight scenes and stuff like that throughout the season, but it was kind of building up to one big epic fight. We're not going to spoil it or anything, but overall, how'd you feel about the season?
It was much better than the first season.
That's not really saying much.
No, it's not. But yeah, it was good. It's still, I like Jessica Jones and
Daredevil.
Daredevil and
Punisher.
And
Luke Cage.
Yes, yeah. Okay, it was on par for this last season of Jessica Jones, which I thought was
Yeah. It's a dramatic improvement.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that if you are in the Marvel Netflix world, it's definitely worth watching. You could skip the first 5 episodes of the first season and still be okay. This one is worth the watch.
Yeah.
Just like season 2 of Jessica Jones. Season 2 wasn't a thing for me. It was about a mom and a daughter.
Yeah.
More than anything else. It wasn't very superhero-y, which is fine. But this season of Iron Fist, I felt like it made more sense in their storytelling. And the guy who's the showrunner for it, let me see if it is right here. I don't remember what his name.
It's a new guy, right?
It's a new guy,
not
yeah.
The guy
and I
that
don't
did
remember
it last year.
what his name was. He was on an episode of Collider Heroes, and he is an Iron Fist enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to be fair, we're not steeped in the lore of the comic and Kung Lao and all that kind of stuff. So we're coming at it as just a series within a universe that we really like.
Right.
And so for that, I thought it was a big improvement. Now, I kind of liked the first season of Iron Fist. Wasn't my favorite of the Marvel universe.
Right.
But this just I liked Colleen Wynn, the character of Colleen Wynn, played by Jessica Henwick. She was really the star of the season more than Finn Jones.
Yeah.
And that's not taking anything away from what they were doing. It almost felt like a backdoor pilot for, what are they calling it? Daughters of the Dragon, which is Colleen Wynn and the detective from Luke Cage, whose name just left me. They team up.
The black girl detective
with the arm.
Oh yeah.
So
okay.
In the comics, they team up together and are like their own spin-off solving crimes and stuff like that.
Well,
and that's kind of more what the season felt like, was a backdoor pilot for that than it was an Iron Fist standalone season.
And the ending, again, not to spoil it, but the ending, the very, very end, felt like they could potentially end the series there.
With one, finish the season?
Not continue on with you could end it here, and there was no cliffhanger. There was an ending.
Right. Right.
After I saw it, I was like, huh,
Yeah.
I wonder if they're just going to.
There's rumors they're going to do a season 3, especially since they aren't on the docket right now. There's not a Defenders series set
Right,
up, and so
right.
I feel like they'll probably do a season 3. A lot of people are asking for Heroes for Hire, which is Luke Cage and Iron Fist together,
Right.
being PIs. I think that would be kind of a cool series.
Well, and
next.
it just, I mean, this wrapped it up, right?
Yeah.
If it didn't do well and Netflix decides not to continue, or if they decide to do something else, kind of like Defenders, a one-off,
right.
season of something else, they could, and you don't have to come back to it if you don't want to.
Right. We know we're getting a season 2 of Punisher. We know we're getting Jessica Jones season 3. And so then they rumored of Iron Fist season 3 and Luke Cage season 3 are out there. And they're getting good ratings for Netflix or whatever. And they been teasing us all this last week, and they finally dropped a video. I won't call it a trailer because it wasn't really a trailer.
No.
But it was a video for Daredevil season 3, which comes out October 19th.
Right.
And everybody's hooping and hollering ready for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they have an established universe there, and it's working. And this was a good step forward for Iron Fist. I still want to see Heroes for Hire next season. Like a comical kind of, like, everything was really dark in that universe. I think moving on from that dark universe and do a kind of a comedy action.
Make Danny the comic relief and Luke
and
the straight guy.
Yeah, very much like a Lethal Weapon kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it would be a lot of fun to see. Make it an 8-episode season, have them, whatever. I think it would be fun, but that's just pure speculation. Okay, so our main topic this week is going to be Disney has decided that they are throwing everything out, and they're going to take all of your money.
Yep.
Like we didn't already know this was happening anyways. With the streaming service that they're about to do, which is supposed to be starting in 2019. Now, they have not said when in 2019, and they haven't also said what the streaming service is called. So it could be like Disney on the Run, or Disney Go, or Disney Here's My Money. So it came out this week. The original story, I believe, was from Variety. Nothing official from Disney and or Marvel. But what's happening is Loki, the character of Loki, and the character of Scarlet Witch are getting their own standalone limited series on the streaming service.
So is Loki getting a show and Scarlet Witch getting a show? Okay, they're not.
They're
it's
not together.
one show. Okay.
Right. And the big thing out of this is that Tom Hiddleston is going to play Loki, and Elizabeth Olsen is going to play Scarlet Witch. And
because they're both free.
And they're both or choke. Anyways, but the big thing too in this is that they are talking about doing 6 to 8 episodes with $100 million budget for each show.
Jesus.
Or around that number.
Christ.
They're talking about big time. They've already talked about the Star Wars show, live action show, is doing 10 episodes, $10 million an episode.
That's $100 million.
That's $100 million. And in this article from Variety, they were talking about how their production costs are going to rival a studio movie project for this.
Which, because they said they will be cheaper than Netflix, right? And Netflix is now, I don't know, $11-12 a month, whatever. So if they're $10 a month, I mean, how are they going to make their money back?
I don't know. I don't know what. And there's also stuff coming down in this article. They talked about the Star Wars movie that's coming. They're doing a High School Musical kind of show based on like the High School Musical, the TV show, and they're doing a live action Lady and the Tramp movie. So they're putting stuff out there that people but Netflix does what, $12 a month or whatever, and they have over 100 million subscribers. Are they going to take 50 million away from Netflix? And that's,
I don't think it's going to be a takeaway. It's not like,
I know we're going to have both.
Right. And that's what I think that most of these streaming services are betting on, is that it's not like cable or, a streaming service
Right.
where you don't need both. You need
Oh no, we need
Netflix and the Disney Channel.
Right. We've talked about the DC Universe stuff, and I'm very intrigued in that. But I'm not spending $20 a month for that service. Now you get comics and you get the movies and TVs and all that kind of stuff too. So they're
And
adding.
people probably will.
They're
Just
yeah,
it's not something that we're necessarily
right. I wouldn't necessarily. I won't necessarily say the DC Universe is something we need. But the Disney streaming service is.
Yeah.
Because of the Marvel stuff that they are to have in there and the Star Wars stuff. And we have grandkids. So when the grandkids come over, they can watch Lady and the Tramp and Cinderella and all that. Sleeping Beauty
and that's
all
happening, people, because you should take the music and video, movies, TV shows, that education of your children and grandchildren very seriously.
Very seriously. You start them off with Disney, you move them on to Hanna-Barbera, then Looney Tunes, and then John Hughes, and then Quentin Tarantino when they're like 12. But I'm really impressed that they are willing to. I'm not surprised that they're going to do a Marvel standalone series on the streaming service. It makes complete sense, whatever. But that they're going to get the actual actors play the characters.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, because of Infinity War, what's the point in the timeline? Are we talking about a prequel with Loki? Are we going to Sokovia? Is this how we get mutants? Because Scarlet Witch has got the. So one of the things is was talked about this week online is that Scarlet Witch is like a super powerful.
Yeah.
In the universe, in the Marvel.
If you saw Infinity War, you understand how powerful she is.
In the MCU, she's one of the most powerful characters.
Right.
She also has the ability, because of her powers come from one of the stones, to activate the mutant gene. And now that's how we get mutants within the MCU once the Fox. So
like if people who have the mutant gene come in contact with her,
or she snaps her fingers and all of a sudden, like that's the thing is.
Wow.
So in the comics, mutants are part of the Avengers, right? That's all. Well, in the modern movie world, the word mutants and anyone who is connected with the mutants was actually owned by Fox, by 21st Century Fox. And so Marvel could never
X-Men
universe and Fantastic Four and anything like that.
Right, okay.
So Marvel MCU could never use the word mutants.
Right.
Which is how we got Inhumans.
Okay.
And that was their workaround. And they can never use any mutant that ever showed up in the comic as a mutant, and they can never use the word mutant.
But now that Disney's bought Fox.
Right. So now the question is, are they going to use this TV series with Scarlet Witch where she's going to, if the 6 episodes activates the mutant gene, and then all of a sudden in phase 4, we get the mutants.
Right, because Scarlet Witch is a fairly new character in the movie series.
Right.
Loki, if you think about it, I mean, there's all the stuff before he even gets introduced that you could, my microphone is hitting me in the mouth, that you could talk about, and plus all the stuff in between, right? But Scarlet Witch has only been in, what, like 3 movies?
Right.
So she's fairly new.
The Sokovia stuff would be very interesting. I don't know if they want to go back. Are they going to get Aaron Taylor, to play Quicksilver again? Like, there's a whole, like, how does it mesh in?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Marvel. I trust them or whatever. But just that conversation of how it's going to mesh in is really interesting.
Well, and I just realized that now Disney can put everything Fox on their streaming service too.
Which is why they bought it.
Catalog is going to be gigantic from the get-go.
And that's been the rumor of why they wanted to make this. Because they have this streaming service. They buy everything that's Fox. They take everything that's Fox and put it on the streaming service, including all the Disney stuff. And now they have a huge library, and they can rotate through like Netflix does.
Yep, and then make these other shows, and they don't have to maybe make as many to start with to get people to buy in early.
The Thursday was Unification Day. In the Firefly universe, it's the day that all of the systems became unified. It's a very important day within the Firefly universe.
It's also Mel's birthday.
It's also Mel's birthday. And in that discussion, we realized that Kaylee from Firefly is now a Disney princess. Anyways, we could hold Firefly, whatever. We're talking about the Emmys for just a second. It happened on Monday, not Sunday, Monday. It was apparently pretty boring show. We didn't watch it. We were filming the big show, and we just got the highlights. Netflix and HBO tied for the most Emmy wins, proving that they're making the best television right now.
Right.
Game of Thrones won the most. A lot of it was technical stuff, but they won. Peter Dinklage won for Best Supporting Actor.
Yay.
He's amazing on that show. And Game of Thrones also won for Best Dramatic Series, pretty much just squishing the Americans. Apparently,
which is crazy. I thought the Americans would win.
It was just I don't understand how that happened. But the Emmys are the Emmys, and it's kind of like the Oscars, and so there's a bunch of political statements that were going on and stuff. And I love the Oscars. I love the Oscar. I don't care. That show can be 15 hours. I'll freaking watch the whole thing. The Emmys, I just don't care about because there's Best Comedic Series, Supporting Actor, Best Comedic Series Actor, Best Drama Series, Best Drama Series Actor, Supporting Actor. So it gets convoluted in the whole process.
Well, and they, I didn't hear anything specifically this year, but in years past, they've struggled to catch up with what was going on as far as Netflix and HBO and all that. And like for 2 years in a row, Orange is the New Black was in Best Comedic Series, and everybody's like, have you watched an episode of this show? There's nothing funny about it at all.
Yeah. It's the Emmys, and I'm really happy for everybody who won, especially Peter Dinklage and stuff like that. But I'd rather watch the highlights of that one than sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
This week's Pop Choice of the Week is Norm Macdonald Has a Show. It is on Netflix. We pick one show every week that we think everybody should be watching, and this week is Norm Macdonald Has a Show, and it is a late night talk show, sit down.
It's a song. Norm Macdonald has a show. E-I-E-I-O.
They do sing a song at the end.
Not that one though.
Not that one. It's a very interesting series. Now, Norm, his comedy style, you either get it or you don't.
Yeah.
I happen to get it. I think he's actually really funny, and he's very smart about it.
Yes.
And he also can go back and forth from a very serious conversation to being silly.
He's very smart, and you don't necessarily realize that because he is very slow and dry in his delivery. And so sometimes you're like, he's just stoned or drunk or whatever.
Right.
But he pulls these things out that are just, you're like, wow, that was deep or smart. Or
the show is really good. He had Drew Barrymore, Jane Fonda, David Letterman, Lorne Michaels, M. Night Shyamalan. So it's a bunch of people that you don't normally get to see on the show. Some episodes were very deep and emotional, whatever, and then the David Letterman one was I just think he was trying to poke David as much as he could.
Oh yeah,
and,
it was funny.
It was funny, and David was in on the joke, but it was still funny.
He's like, at one point he was like, I'm gone, and he starts taking his stuff off.
But it's a really cool. The guys on TV Talk at Collider didn't necessarily like it as much as I think we did, but I really appreciated this show. Outside of what all the bull that the internet was saying that Norm was being an idiot and what, I don't care. The show itself was really good.
Yeah.
And we are suggesting it this week because you're going to get interviews from people you're not going to see on a regular basis.
Right. And I mean, if you like the Saturday Night Live, kind of when he was on there, he wrote a lot. He was on every once in a while too, but he wrote a lot of that. So if you liked that Saturday Night Live,
the one thing I wish they actually would have done is like an hour and a half with Lorne Michaels just talking about Saturday Night Live.
Lorne Michaels is very not funny. Like I thought he's been running this comedy sketch show for 30 years, 40 years, however long Saturday Night Live's been on. You expect him, and he went out and found all that talent You expect him to be a funny guy, and he's not.
He's very much the straight man. He is very much the straight man, and he understands that too.
Yeah.
He actually even said, "My ability is to find talent, not
not tell a joke."
I'm going to skip that one, the Trent Reznor one. We'll get to it later. Jordan Peele is going to be the executive producer of the new Twilight show series that's coming.
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
Not Twilight.
Show.
That's
that's you know what I mean. Twilight Zone.
There you go.
He's also going to be the host that Ron Serling used to do, This Week and the Twilight Zone and blah, 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 blah. And Jordan Peele was like, no, I'll be executive producer, but I'm not going to do that. And then they finally just said, here's all the money and just do it and stuff.
Shut up and take our money.
But it's, you make one horror film and knock it out of the box, and then all of a sudden they want you to do all the horror stuff.
Right.
He's also working on Candyman. Bringing Candyman back.
Okay.
But
yeah, if you watch the little trailer thing, it goes from Rod Serling doing, his little monologue thing to Jordan just kind of picks it up and keeps going with it, and it totally works.
It totally works, and I'm really excited. The problem is, back to the streaming service stuff, it's going to be on CBS All Access.
Yeah, we're not paying for that,
and
too.
we're not. We're already going to do Disney, and we're on the fence with Hulu.
Yeah.
Everything else after that is we're going to have to do a lot better money-wise to be able to get all those streaming services.
Yeah.
And right now, CBS All Access has the Star Trek stuff, and this is all I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a pause for us right now. And then this week we're getting into the last of September. We are getting into the fall premieres as they begin.
Yep.
We're not going to go over everything that's premiering, but there's some stuff that's coming up this week that we're going to, stuff that we may be interested in. I know at least a couple of these. Big Bang Theory's last season starts on Monday. The one that we talked about it a couple weeks ago, Magnum PI.
Yep, we've got that one set up to DVR.
To go. Yep. Young Shelton. I don't know how that show keeps going, but it keeps going. It's doing great. On Tuesday, you have The Gifted season 2. Now, we did the first 5 episodes of the first season of Gifted.
Yeah.
Liked it enough, but I
think we just got consumed with other stuff.
Lethal Weapon, they got rid of the one guy.
Yeah.
And he's being replaced by Sean William Scott.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very interesting because he kind of got blackballed out of Hollywood for a long time.
Yeah. Well, the other guy, that's kind of what happened to him. He said something.
Yeah, he said or did something or whatever, and it was, And
they were like, see ya.
But Sean William Scott coming back is really good for that. On Wednesday, you have all the Chicago stuff coming back. PD, Med, whatever.
Fire.
Blah, 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 blah. South Park in its 867th season. That show is... it just keeps... It's like Simpsons. Just keeps trucking along.
Yep.
Keeps trucking along. Stays relevant.
Easy to make cartoons.
Yeah. On Thursday... The Good Place season 3 is coming out. Now, Good Place might be one of the ones when I get done with Clone Wars to go back and rewatch because everybody says it's really funny and really good.
Yeah.
What else is on there? Oh, Murphy Brown starts on Tuesday. We've talked about this a little bit. Oh, Thursday. Sorry, Thursday. We've talked about this a little bit. Didn't know that it was coming back.
Yeah.
It comes back. We watched the stuff for it. It makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And the first episode is called
Fake News.
So awesome. It's so awesome. Friday, Hawaii Five-0 and its 640th season. I'm not really sure how that show keeps Last Man Standing. MacGyver's still going.
Yeah.
That's really weird that's coming out. And then Sunday you have all the Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, Simpsons, all that kind of stuff that's starting.
So today is the Black Panther on Disney XD. Are we interested in that?
It's the cartoon,
right?
I'm intrigued.
Okay.
I've read a little bit about it, so I'm a little intrigued on what they're gonna do on it and stuff like that.
I mean, you watch the Star Wars cartoon.
The Clone
thing,
Wars and stuff
Clone
like
Wars.
that. Yeah.
And it's Disney XD, so it's going to be a little more adult,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Rebels was an adult show by the time it got done, and so I'm interested. I'm interested in that. I'm probably will DVR it and then sit down and binge it one day when you're off at something.
Yeah.
That's this week's episode of TV Time. What do you guys think? Are you excited about the Marvel streaming stuff that's coming? Because I know we are. And all the other stuff that's going on TV. If we missed something that you want us to talk about, please let us know. Leave us a comment and tell us, hey, you should be talking about this show. You should be watching this show, that kind of thing.
Yep.
We've talked about this in the past. There's so much stuff. We try our best to keep up on it. But with TV shows and movies, sometimes we get some stuff, and it's football season.
Yeah.
We're halfway through Maniac, and I'm like, I need to watch some football, and I need to go reset and come back and watch that show. Also, while you're here, let us know what you think. Leave us a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Be nice in the comments. Like I said, we're still learning stuff. You can get a hold of us too on our social media network. PopCultureCult on Facebook, PopCultureCult1 on Instagram, Pop_Cult1 on Twitter, and on the Stardust app. Download it for free. React to everything you're watching. Till the next time, good morning now.